Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again talking about this same damn writer and lore designer for The Witcher 4. You know, this guy, as people start to dig through his tweets and dig through his history, this guy really is just a piece of work. And I'm not surprised that they're finding all this information about him because this is the guy who said he wanted to punch gamers. This is the guy who apparently hates you so much that he didn't want to work in the gaming industry and yet for some reason decided to become a lore designer for CD Projekt Red. Why that is, I don't know, but apparently this same exact lore designer has described Cyberpunk 2077 players as fascistic, unempathetic, and depraved, as well as poisonous and predatory wankers.
Doom Eternal fucking sucks. It is one of the biggest missed opportunities for the uplifting of racial minority groups and social commentary on the inherent hegemonic status quo of post-Columbian genocidal racism in America.
Now, one thing I will say, boys and girls, about this entire situation is that I love the level of projection that these people do every single day when they talk about people online and call them all the buzzwords imaginable in their arsenal of buzzwords. When they call you an incel, when they call you a gooner, when they call you all these things, it's them projecting because at the end of the day, they are the ones that act like that. They are the ones that are the gooners. They are the ones that are the incels. They are the ones that are the male feminists. It's them. It is always them. And they'll try to project onto you because at the end of the day, they're either envious of you if you're a YouTuber, they're jealous of you in general, or they just fucking hate you. And they're trying to make it seem as if you are miserable and they are not, when we all know based on how they act and what they wish upon you, that they're the ones that are genuinely miserable. So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Sion Maher, CD Projekt Red's franchise and lore designer, who is working on the upcoming Witcher 4 game, previously called CD Projekt Red's paying customers fascistic, unempathetic, and depraved, as well as poisonous and predatory wankers. Maher, who has been working on at CD Projekt Red since April of 23, previously worked at The Gamer from September 20 to December of 2021 as an associate editor and then the lead features editor. Maher wrote an article published in December of 2020 at The Gamer titled the following: "People who call Cyberpunk 2077 perfect are the people that Cyberpunk warns us against." Now, I don't really know the full context of it. We're about to get some snippets of it. But what I will say, like I've always said, is that Cyberpunk 2077 for sure, when it came out, had a bunch of shills. They were trying to defend it and say, well, I'm not having any issues, so clearly it doesn't matter, right? They're the kind of people who, you know, if they don't experience any bugs, any problems with a game, then suddenly everybody else complaining about bugs and problems, well, they just don't matter. Like, it's not affecting them, so it doesn't matter. Trust me, I totally get that Cyberpunk had that level of shillery going on. But to be fair, so does Witcher 4. Witcher 4 has the same level of shillery happening right now from a single trailer where everybody's like, oh, this game's going to be amazing. How do you know that, right? They have no clue. But they try to come at us for being angry over how the trailer portrays Siri and all this stuff. Anyway, I'm not even going to go into it, but you guys already know. They're allowed to do it, and we're not allowed to do it. It's very clear rules for thee, but not for me. Anyway, so he says, while I can recognize that CD Projekt's marketing of Cyberpunk 2077 leaned into the edgelord egos of a demographic that rhymes with Bincel. Yeah, because, bro, oh my God, like, these people project so hard, it's insane. The sheer volume of people who have exposed themselves as irredeemably malicious lowlifes over the past few months, and the past few days in particular, is not just disheartening, but legitimately frightening. I was always aware of the malevolent mob, although I never recognized its alarming number of proponents. Because these people think that they are the ones who are the majority, right? They think, because of the way Twitter was in the past, they do really believe that they are the majority of people. And the funny thing is, now, after X has been freed from the, vice grips of the Democratic Party, and now that the election process has happened and there was a massive wet rave everywhere, now they realize they're not the majority. Now they realize their friend that bashes Trump with them probably voted for Trump and lied to his face. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's going on right now in this world. And you have these journalists not knowing what to do with that information. They don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to actually understand what's happening. So they just do their, what they always do, which is call you names, because that's what they're used to doing. So then after generalizing Cyberpunk 2077 players, he then pointed to a specific example and rightfully derided individuals who were trying to trigger a seizure in former Game Informer writer Liana Rupert as deplorable. He wrote, "I wonder if they realize that by sending critics who have notified the world of potentially life-threatening sequences in the game videos that could trigger seizures in real life, that their actions are deplorable beyond human comprehension." Rupert wrote a piece at Game Informer sharing that she suffered a major seizure while playing the game. "During my time with Cyberpunk 2077, I suffered one major seizure and felt several moments where I was close to another one. I kept going because I made that decision to, and I feel like that decision helped me sort of slap together a small little guide for players wanting to take part in this game for fear of missing out." She also claimed on X, "I've been sent hundreds of videos disguised as support that are deliberate flashing to induce photosensitive triggers. If you're sharing this saying you're epileptic and receive a video, don't press play. I'm back to being on my ass. Be better, please." Now, if that actually happened, and again, I don't think there's any evidence of it, but if that actually happened, that's fucked up. Okay, whoever did that to this person, that's fucked up. You should not be doing that, and that is some sick shit. And there are people out there that absolutely would do that, don't get me wrong. Again, I haven't seen any evidence of it from this particular person, but let's just say I probably believe them to some small extent. But let's not pretend like that is the norm, okay? These are just trolls on the internet who do not represent the majority. The actual majority of people are the ones that people like Liana Rupert and people like Maher tend to ignore, which is us. They try to call us incels, they try to call us bigots, they try to call us all these things because they don't want to admit that our particular side perhaps has the numbers for the most part. However, he then claimed 2077 were harassing so-called trans people, and this is where, of course, it gets ridiculous because everything has to be about, oh my god, trans people. Maher wrote, "I wonder if they realize that by harassing trans writers who have rightfully and justifiably critiqued Cyberpunk 2077's haphazard and sometimes harmful representation of trans people, that they themselves are the exact kind of people that Cyberpunk is designed to destroy. Fascistic, unempathetic, depraved proponents of a regime designed to foster irreversible and indiscriminate misery in technophilic dystopia." That is big words to essentially say that you believe trans people deserve better in the video game. That's essentially what he's trying to say. And you can think that all you want, but at the end of the day, man, CD Projekt Red is one of the wokest companies out there. They've always have been, and now it's more than ever. So if you're angry over their representation of trans people, perhaps you should realize that those are your supposed allies, right? CD Projekt Red is your supposed ally to your cause, and if they're representing you that way and you don't like it, then your allies clearly aren't very allied to you. A bit later in the article, he declared the people who perceive Cyberpunk 2077 as some impenetrably perfect game, the vast majority of whom haven't so much as played a single second of it, are a gross testament to the members of society, it and cyberpunk genre at large, painted as antagonistic. It is a weird form of voyeurism that is frighteningly and almost unbelievably ignorant of itself. So again, boys, at this point, I think it's safe to say that Maher probably is on the side of identity politics. I think it's pretty easy to make that connection. And I think that Maher, at this point, has a certain ideology that will most likely be precedent in Witcher 4's lore design, right? If he is the lore designer for this game, right, and he is going to be, a proponent of putting the story together and making it get into the hands of players, then him and other people who are working on it that we haven't even had time to talk about yet, him and other people together, I mean, it's not going to look good. At this point, Witcher 4 is kind of up in the air. I've been saying this for all my Witcher videos. I don't know which way to go. All I know is that CD Projekt Red has shown me pretty much everything I need to know about the company itself to know that this is probably not going to look good. And I'm going to keep them at an arm's length. And at the very least, I can, showcase to my subscribers what the game is really about and let them make the adults decision for themselves, because that's what they are. They're adults. And I'll never talk down to them, unlike these fucking losers who will talk down to people and call them incels and everything like that simply because they disagree with their ideology. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.